So Jerry Seinfeld has been heckled quite a bit, protested quite a bit by ceasefire protesters all around the country and all around the world. And the thing about heckling comedians is once you heckle them enough, once you protest them enough, especially a guy like Seinfeld, who's been a pro, who's been doing it for so long, is they're going to start incorporating it into the show. Like, they're going to start writing material. Like, pretty soon, Seinfeld's whole act is going to be anti-Palestine protester shtick. Like, he's going to just incorporate this into the act. So this time, Jerry was prepared with these epic clapbacks at the ceasefire protesters.
Yes. We have a genius, ladies and gentlemen. He solved the Middle East. He solved it. It's the Jewish comedians. That's who we have to get.
It's not the Jewish comedians. It's the Jewish comedians whose wives team up with billionaires to hire goons to violently attack peaceful college protesters, as what happened on UCLA. Bill Ackman and Jessica Seinfeld were major donors to the group that sent those guys in to attack the peaceful protesters. So it's not Jewish comedians. Right?
Why are you attacking my wife? She's legal.
Yeah, right, exactly. I married an old one. You can never be happy.
You're the ones doing everything. Yeah, go ahead, keep going. They're going to start punching you in about 3 seconds. So
that's very Trumpy. That's very Trump-like. They're going to start punching you. Yeah.
That's very Trumpy to throw out that kind of threat. And I can tell you, as somebody who's been in these kinds of crowds, that is always a fear if you do things like this.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%.
You never know if someone's going to take a shot at you.
No.
It's a very charged situation. You got
Especially
a lot of people who want to be a fucking hero. You don't know.
This is a big room. This is not like a small room. You know, it's a big room.
And these Zionists are sick.
That lady took a swing at the guy the other day. You know, they were talking to her about, she was calling them not a real Jew. And the guy says, "Lady, I'm Jewish." And she swings at him.
Yeah, no. If somebody on the other side said anything like that, that would be fodder for MSNBC talking heads for days.
Yep.
He incited violence in his audience.
Right. If one of the, like, if a Zionist heckled Macklemore at a concert and Macklemore said, "The guards are going to come drag you out of here, beat you up," yeah, that would be a huge story.
Of course it would.
A huge story.
Of course it would. They're not going to say anything about this.
Yep.
Your genius out so we can all learn from you. It's a comedy show, you moron. Get out of here.
Yeah. You can say it's a comedy show when you're not going to Israel and posing with the IDF.
Right, with machine guns.
When you're not sitting down with Zionist propagandist extraordinaire Barry Weiss and getting teary in an interview about Zionism and Israel and Gaza. Then you can say it's a comedy show. I promise you, nobody is going to show up at Gallagher's show and start screaming about Palestine. Right. You've inserted yourself into this conversation.
Larry David, he's made plenty of public appearances because the Curb finale, he's made plenty of public appearances. I don't know what his politics are on this. I really have no idea. He doesn't want anybody to know, so no one bothers him,
Right.
Like, if you inject yourself into it, this is going to happen.
Right. It's not because you're a Jewish comedian.
Right.
It's because you are an extremely, not just an outspoken Zionist, an extremely outspoken Zionist. You've made yourself a spokesperson for a genocide.
Yes.
People are going to have feelings about that. Sorry.
Exactly. Yes. Oops, sorry.
Yeah, this is so important. Imagine if this guy actually did solve the Yes, so you're really influencing everyone here. We're all on your side now because you have made your point so well and in the right venue. You come to the right place for a political conversation.
Well, you're there. That's the point.
You're there.
That
makes it the right place.
And look at the size of that room, man. Look at the size of that. Look at the size. This is like an arena show, you know? I mean, this is a huge venue. This is Australia, right? Yeah. So maybe he doesn't get over there that often, but wow. I mean, what a huge room. What a huge room.
And in reality, I mean, you would probably know better than I would, but I'm pretty sure I'm right about this because I would have noticed it. He hasn't done any significant work that anyone cared about since Seinfeld.
No, not really. Just the stand-ups, but that's it.
Which he hasn't done a lot of either.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's a prolific touring act, but nothing that like made a splash. Like there wasn't a big special that he had that made a splash, like The Closer or something like, you know, some big thing that made an impact. I mean, he's a consummate comic. He's on the road constantly, but he hasn't like done anything that made him
that
a
anyone cares about.
Figure for a while. Yeah,
right.
For 25 years pretty much.
Right. So you're a washed up comedian. You just did a Pop-Tart movie that even the people who like you didn't like. Why don't you shut up? Why don't you shut up? You want people to stop bothering you at your concerts? Shut up. Stop talking about things that, you know who's going to solve it? The asshole whose wife contributes to beat up protesters.
Right, exactly.
So you're not going to solve it, so shut up. You're saying they shouldn't comment on it. Well, maybe you shouldn't comment on it. How about that?
He admits, he all but admits he doesn't really know about it.
You're literally saying, well, you shouldn't bother Jewish comedians. What are they going to do? So shut up then.
Right. But even in his interviews about this subject, this is what is very offensive about him. Is that he says, well, I'm very connected to the struggle of being Jewish, and so I feel I should stick up for Israel. That is the exact wrong message to send. That, well, because I'm Jewish, I just kind of have to support Israel. No, you don't, asshole. Right. We're Jewish. We don't support. Like, that is the exact wrong thing to say. I don't really follow this, but since I'm Jewish, I guess I'll back the, Zionist government. Like, that makes the exact wrong connection in people's mind. That is the exact connection that we try to prevent from happening.
Yeah, well, when you're backing Israel, what you're really backing is a movement that has its origins in Christian Zionism, really.
Yeah.
Christian Zionists. Literally, we talk about this with the evangelicals as if it's a modern development or it's a bonus to Israel. No, that was the original motive for Israel. That was why you had British figures backing the idea of Israel, because you had people in the Anglican Church who wanted the Jews there for Jesus bait. Yes. That was there from the beginning. This is not like a new Jerry Falwell thing. That was you had that kind of Zionism before you really had Jewish Zionism. It was Christian Zionism, and it also had the added benefit of getting the Jews out of Europe.
Yeah,
you're backing a movement that has its roots in Christian anti-Semitism and millennialism.
Yes, and even secularism. Netanyahu grew up in a secular household. I'm going to get into very, very briefly a little bit of his bio in a later segment, but he didn't grow up a religious Jew. He grew up in a secular household. He went to MIT. I mean, so the idea that, well, because I'm Jewish, I have to, that's it. That's the end. I mean, that is just such a lazy and harmful way of thinking about it. And to project that out when you have a platform like Jerry Seinfeld, it's just a very, very harmful thing to say. And he says it without really thinking about it very much, which makes it even worse because you're just lazy.
Well, the majority of Jews didn't even support Zionism until after the founding of the State of Israel.
Right.
Once it was there, and of course the impact of the Holocaust, the Reformed movement, the Reformed Jewish movement, for the uninitiated, very quickly, you have basically Orthodox, conservative, and Reformed. So that's basically mild, spicy, and super hot Judaism. The Reformed movement, I believe, is the largest synagogue or constellation of synagogues. They did not change their stance on being openly opposed to the State of Israel, I think, until the 90s.
Interesting.
So the idea that, Jews, Zionism, no, that's decades and decades and decades of propaganda from Western media, partly through the manipulation of the Israeli state that has made so many Jews think those things are synonymous. There was centuries-long resistance to the idea of making Judaism and Zionism one.
Please clap.